What up, party people? Welcome back to another episode of Hops Geek News, your home for comic books, movies, TV shows. And today we are traveling ourselves back in time to cover Spider Noir. We are going to spoil it, talk about the first season, and then we're also going to talk about a little bit comic book origin of Ben Reilly. But before we do so, make sure to like, subscribe, share, follow. Find us on social media, all at Hops Geek News. That's where you can find us. And we typically talk about the beer we're drinking. We go over some news. We talk about what we're reading or watching. And then our main topic, I have a nice collab from our friend Patrick, who sent me this Von Trapp Bissell Brother collab. I can never not pronounce this, but it's a Palatamavi lager with spruce. It's pretty good. It's like a lager but I don't know how
Those
to pronounce
are very different styles of breweries, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, because Bissell does more than IPAs, but I feel like I think of IPAs when I think of Bissell, and Von Trapp is Vienna.
Yeah, this
type beers, isn't it?
Kind of a spruce tipped lager, so it's kind of a blend of what they're both good at, and it's really good. Honestly, like it's delicious.
It's a cool little brewery. I got to visit that when we did Alchemist.
Oh, yeah.
So I actually have a beer from my stepdad. It is a collab from Noir and Boroughs, which I've never heard of them.
Interesting.
And it is called Personal Plague. It's got like a mask on, kind of. It would be perfect for
like
a supernatural
doctor,
episode. But it's he's got a mask on like a Spider Noir, and well, it's really good. And I took a picture of it with my what did they call this Spider-Man from Far From Home? Spider Monkey or something?
Oh, yeah. They call him like Spider, like something monkey or whatever, because that's what they nicknamed him. Yeah.
So one of the kids had this little toy, and I was like, it kind of looks like Spider Noir. He just needs a hat and a trench coat.
It's in a black suit. Good enough. Yeah,
exactly.
Good enough. We'll get into it, but we haven't kind of done this in a while, but we've been reading or watching some things. I cannot recommend Widow's Bay enough on Apple TV if you're into things like Parks and Rec and kind of the horror supernaturally. Yeah.
Wait,
so it's
Parks
kind
and
of
Rec and horror. Those are very different shows.
Trust me, it works. It's very much, it's a serious, not serious show kind of in a way where there's this island and there's a lot of mysterious supernatural elements to this island to where if you were born on the island, you can't leave it because you'll die. But also it's kind of like a Parks and Rec where it's kind of like a self-aware. The mayor it's like silly. It's silly. Mm-hmm. It's like a horror comedy kind of, I guess is the best way to put it.
Boroughs?
Yeah. Oh, I started watching that.
Josh and I started that.
I don't really get the hype for that. I watched the first with Alfred Molina. That's a who's show. Everybody's in it. Gina Davis, Bill Pullman, Alfred Molina.
Bill Pullman. And the one lady, she's an Ultron, and then she's like the bad guy in Luke Cage.
Oh,
like she's super evil. Yeah. But she's the one that was like her son died during Ultron. So she wasn't. Was she?
Yeah, she was. That was her.
No, she was in Infinity War. What was she in? Her son died during the events of Age of Ultron. He died in Sokovia.
Civil War, because
Civil War. That's the Sokovia Accords.
Yeah. And then also the mom from Malcolm in the Middle. She's in it too.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a first too. I guess I'm only one episode deep, so
it gets better. I think we're maybe 3 or 4 in now, and it does get very interesting. And I'm now kind of seeing, like, I have a theory of what's going on and why it's going on. And there's definitely more that occurs in like the 3rd or 4th episode that you're like,
okay, all right.
I feel like you have comedy elements, and I guess like I also love that these people are all like 70 years old.
They're all old people,
but they're people we know, and they're people I don't want to say kind of relate to. I mean, we're all getting older, but they're still, they know they're getting older, and they make jokes about it, and they're at that point where they're like don't want to die, but they're making jokes about dying, and it's
well, the whole community itself wasn't like sanctioned, so they don't have the police or anything like that.
Well, and in any retirement community, it's not uncommon for an ambulance to show up and take away a dead body.
Yeah.
So I think that's why things are happening in this specific place. I feel like it was strategically picked because you're not going to question the deaths of people in a retirement community the way you would question.
And the person, elsewhere. I was getting weird feelings about, the person kind of in charge, but
and I'm loving Alfred Molina in this. I'm loving him.
He plays that perfect. He's that old man, but he's also kind of sweet, but he's what the heck is
No,
going on.
he's
He's kind of
little. He's
questioning.
mourning his dead
Yeah,
wife,
his wife
and
passed away. So
yeah,
that one,
which
that's
is why he's ended up here. But I like it, and it's interesting because it is the Duffer Brothers, and it's like a twist on Stranger Things. Because in Stranger Things, like who's going to take the kids seriously? And now
yeah.
they've flipped it on its head. Who's going to take these 70-year-old, possibly senile people seriously? Even though our country is run by them. But I digress.
Yeah.
But it's just like a flip of the script. So I kind of like it that it's like two, sides of the same coin kind of thing. But I am enjoying it. We haven't finished it, but I will let you know. But I will also maybe
Yeah.
we'll watch that one after the Widow's Bay. I keep wanting to say Widow's
Yeah,
Peak.
Widow's Bay's Apple TV. That
Widow's Bay.
one's the finale I think is this week. So
Oh,
it's
okay,
very really
perfect.
good. It's already got renewed for season 2. So I've been watching it weekly. I'll have something written
You
up.
should
That's been
watch Friends and
awesome.
Neighbors. That's on Apple, and that just finished. And next
Oh, I haven't
season's
seen
gonna
that.
have Joshua Jackson in it. I'm
Silo's
excited.
about to get started again too. I haven't
Yeah,
seen the second season of that, but
I have. I feel like the second season was just more of the same,
uh, well,
but I'll probably give it a
comic book
try.
wise though, there's been a lot of good stuff. I mean, I've been reading Daredevil, Absolute Green Lantern's out. I really like the horror elements of Absolute Green Lantern. It's very much, and they introduced a couple of characters that I didn't think that they would pull deep cuts from so soon. And one of them uh, was a very brief character, so I was very surprised at that. But I'm really enjoying that one. Absolute Catwoman is debuted. I really enjoyed that as well. Selena's suit is like actually makes sense. It's not just this latex suit. It's something that actually works for
But you
her.
can't
And
move in.
well, yeah, like, it makes, her helmet is designed to actually do things and work in the screens. And it's kind of like a little Iron Man helmet in a way, and an Iron Man suit sort of. And then Absolute Batman, the issue 21, Scott's actually, he sent me a DM. He was
I
like,
almost
"Hey,
feel
just
like I want to be like la la la. I want to go
well,
in
I'm not gonna
completely
spoil it. He
blind.
sent, well, in a DM, he said this is, and he's been very open about this, so this isn't spoiling anything, that his favorite scene takes place in this issue. And I think I know what it is. The final couple panels of Absolute Batman 21 blew my mind.
Mm.
I really can't wait for you to read that because I want to talk about it with somebody and I haven't been able to yet. So
I'm gonna go to the shop tomorrow to pick it up.
Red Coat is out. I enjoyed Red Coat 18. That one is very somber, very sad. Like Simon's got a family, and so he's kind of has to make a decision between, is a family something he's going to be able to have long term, or can he get them immortality too? But there's finding out a little bit more things. So I'm really enjoying that one. That's a big one. And then Of Earth, we were kind of talking about Chris Condon. I really like that horror element. That the art just makes you feel dirty, and so that adds kind of a supernatural, like just
He
uncomfortable
really
feeling while you're
likes
reading it. And
the desert dirt in his
he
stories.
does. So doing in the end of this is he's adding in, apparently he's been researching a lot of this stuff for a long time because he puts in excerpts about what influenced him at the end of this book. And so it's really cool seeing like he's been researching things like this. He's spent time in like Wyoming researching, in Texas, but he really does. But it makes sense in terms of the horror, because the setting really adds to when you're just feeling uncomfortable, and this Texas sweltering heat mixed with oil, and it's just gross. But yeah, just kind of those things. And of course the Castiel, which came out last week, I enjoyed that issue. That really felt like an episode of Supernatural to me, I thought
It was,
anyways.
yeah. It was like the episode The Man Who Would Be King because it was from
Yeah.
Castiel's perspective. So I thought that was cool. But yeah, speaking of Red Coat, real quick, actually, $1 Trillion Kid came out this week. That was a really fun
Ooh.
comic that's going to tie into the Family Odyssey. So you get to get like little nods of Hornsby and Halo in there, as well as the Rockefellers, but you don't need to know anything about them to follow the story. But it's basically a kid who's a trillionaire. And what he does with his money is he's like, hey, I'm going to make public transportation to school more fun. So it's a roller coaster. The roller coaster picks the kids up and takes them to
Oh,
school. So it's
that's
things like
cool.
that this kid's doing, and you kind of think like it's like a blank check almost is what went through my head. But then you realize there's a very dark side going on, there's a mystery going on, and there's stuff that this kid is trying to figure out. And he's actually been researching other characters in the Ghost Machine world, which is why we learn, we hear about the Hornsby and Halo characters and the other characters. So I think that this is going to like weave things kind of together and expand the universe.
Ooh,
But and then
it's about to, yeah, this
Supernatural this
is the
week.
first
Yeah, that was the first issue.
new, oh, sorry, I was just saying
Yeah,
it's like the first new Ghost Machine that we've kind of gotten into the fold now, so still
I know.
waiting on,
It's still no first
first Ghost.
ghost. There is a particular type of thing in this. It's not first Ghost, but there is
It's
something
a
that was
second Ghost.
introduced. Maybe it could be second Ghost. But it's not even part of the story, but they drop it so you know it's going to be relevant later. But as far as I
Fine.
know, it is not
I'm gonna read it
a
after we record. That's what I'm gonna do.
presidential any something or whatever. But yeah, Supernatural, it's the penultimate issue. We now know the why the bad guy's doing what the bad guy's doing, but I have no idea how they're
Oh,
gonna wrap it up. So I don't even want to talk about it until
yeah,
they
it's only
wrap it up.
9 issues long. That's kind of that's a
Yes.
weird number. Either things go 5 or 6 or 10, but to cut it at 9 is weird.
I think was it the 9 billion genies? I think that was
Oh,
9
8
issues.
billion
And I want to
genies.
say
Maybe
Lucky
you're right,
Devils
yeah.
is too. So I think Charles Soule likes the number 9.
Interesting.
Oh,
Weird.
speaking of Charles Soule, so I finally read that book I bought from him that focuses on Muse and a whole bunch of others
Yeah,
comics.
yeah.
I think it was from like 2015. So I read that, and I didn't know until recently that Charles Soule used to be an attorney. And I loved, loved, loved reading that because it's all about Matt trying to get it so that superheroes can like testify without revealing their
Yeah.
identity. And I loved how he was using terms correctly. And like one of the interesting things that I remember learning in law school is like, I think all the states are like the highest court is like the Supreme Court of Florida. But for some reason, New York has it switched to where the highest court is called the appellate court. And I don't know why I'm
Oh,
sure I
yeah.
learned why they did that. And I don't remember. And he comments on that in the comic and he's using like proper terms. And I love
Ooh,
that
that's
he's trying to
fun.
make this case precedent. And it was like, I don't like when they do procedural stuff, illegal procedural stuff a lot of times because they do it so wrong. But I thought this was really cool. And I loved how he did it, trying to get to the Supreme Court intentionally so that he could make it so that he can get all of these
I didn't realize that
testimonies
either.
submitted.
Wow.
I thought it was so well done. And I know you
What
and
a
Megan
what
had
a
actually covered
pipeline.
it.
Going
Yeah.
from being a lawyer to writing some of the best comic books and
Not
stories out there, like,
uncommon.
what?
Mark Guggenheim too.
Yeah, well,
There's
yeah, because that's right.
there's a few. I was gonna say Ethan Sachs, but no, he was a reporter before, a journalist.
Yeah, it's just so well, he wrote, like, obituaries and stuff, but it is interesting. The law to comic book, pipeline is just fascinating to me for whatever reason, 'cause I would never you think lawyers are kind of not stuck up necessarily, but they're very driven. If you worked your butt off to become a lawyer, you
And they
would
do try
be
to train you
focused.
in law school to think that you're better than everybody else. They really do.
I could
I'm
see,
not
then
even
that makes
kidding.
sense. A lot of people buy into you get egos. That's really what it is. Like, it's there for
Yeah.
egos. It's like vet bros. So, I did not know
Yeah.
that. That's dope. Interesting.
Yeah. So I
I
really
will.
like that. I want to read more of him writing Daredevil all day, even if he is certain that
Oh, yeah. He's like the
Daredevil
Star
can't
Wars
see
guy.
Spidey
Him and
sense.
Ethan are both like the Star Wars guys now. It's
Mm.
kind of crazy that anytime Charles's name's attached or Ethan, they're both pushing the Star Wars narrative forward in comic books, which I think is pretty cool. And Charles was just at Disney. I mean, he was posting pictures being like, I'm at work, and he was at Galaxy's Edge. And I was like, dang,
Mm.
if only we were there too, Charles. I think we squashed our beef. It was one-sided beef. I
I
thought he
don't
just
think
hated.
you had beef.
I don't think there was beef, but I
It's
just felt
super
like he hated me for
sweet
so
when we
long
talked.
because
So no,
he's very scary.
he
Just like
was
Ben
very
Percy,
sweet
who's
about
also
my Lucky
scary.
Devils review. I liked him.
Yeah, he's awesome. I would love to have like an old fashioned with him. You can't have a beer with Charles Soule. I feel like you got to have something very upclassed with
Can
Charles
I?
Soule.
What about a really expensive beer?
I mean, sure, I guess. I just feel like if I'm talking with Charles Soule and we're like at a bar, and I don't know why all of a sudden I'm just like making this scenario in my head because what are the chances, right? But we're having a nice smoked old fashioned and it's dimly lit, and we're just chopping it up over Daredevil or Star Wars. I don't know.
I don't want to drink an old fashioned.
Well, you can have your fancy beer. I was just saying, like in my head, in my scenario, I'm having an old fashioned,
And
and Charles
Ethan
is
Sachs
having
and I will be at the other end of the bar drinking beers.
you and
All
Ethan
right?
will have beers, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but just that's just in my scenario. That's what's happening. I don't know. I can't explain. Okay.
Gotcha.
Anyways, news. There's not really a whole lot of news other than expect a lot of good stuff at San Diego Comic-Con because Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to have a panel. Just because
and
Marvel.
Prime people can see Spider-Man Brand New Day a couple days early.
Oh, really? I got to get my ticket then. Dang. Yeah. I just got my ticket for Wednesday night to go see Supergirl actually at AMC.
Oh, I need to do that. I can't wait to see Supergirl.
I'm going to Cinemark. I'm taking Harper. Neither Carrie nor Oliver want to see this movie for some reason.
Why?
So Harper and I are going to go see Supergirl. You know why? Because we can, and it looks awesome.
I have a feeling it'll just be Kaylee and I. Whatever.
So
maybe I'll make Ray. I'll go.
That's fine. I don't know why they don't seem interested in it. I think it's awesome. They're not vibing it. That's they're a loss. I'm into it. I can't wait to see that. But that's really cool. I didn't know that Prime's doing a Spider-Man Brand New Day. I got to get there. I wonder if they're going to do a surprise movie viewing at San Diego since they're going to have a panel. Makes me very curious.
I will say, if you do the Prime thing, get there on time. Do not anticipate 30 minutes.
Yeah, they don't do trailers. It's awesome.
Yeah, Superman. They immediately started Superman. I was so happy we got there on time.
Yeah, starts at 7. The movie starts right away, and then next thing you know, you're home in a reasonable time. There's no
and then you see people like running into the theater because it had already started.
Well, that's the thing. The line was long for snacks, and so Carrie was like, there's gonna be trailers and all that. I get in there, I text her, I was like, there's no trailers, let's go.
Yeah, fortunately, Tabby and I were seated immediately.
I love it. But yeah, not really much else happening in the news. So let's go into Spider-Man Noir. Let's talk about it. You want to start with the comic book origin? You took some time.
Sure.
Why don't you go ahead and hit us some comic book origin?
So we are introduced to Nicolas Cage's Spider-Man as Spider-Noir, aka Benjamin Riley. So Benjamin Riley was created by Gary Conway and Ross Andrew and first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man number 149 in 1975. Ben, after Uncle Ben, and Riley, after Aunt May's maiden name, is how they got the name, and he is from Earth 616. So Ben Riley is actually, this is not the Ben Riley we meet in this, but Ben Riley is actually a clone of Peter Parker, complete with his memories and his moral compass. He was cloned by Miles Warren, aka the Jackal, and this was all to torture people. To torture Peter. I need to do my vocal exercises before we record.
Peter, how now, brown cow?
He did end up dying in an explosion, so he thought, and Peter disposed of his body to avoid weird questions. But this is Ben Riley, not Uncle Ben Parker, so he did come back 5 years later. Apparently, he had just been hiding until he learned Aunt May was sick, and he's like, oh, I gotta come out and, see Aunt May. For a bit, Ben was the Scarlet Spider, and he fought with Peter. I'm having a really hard time saying
Peter. Man, you do not like Peter.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. So they fight, and Norman Osborn convinces them that they're actually each other. He's just messing with them. They're not. Later, Pete ends up going off with MJ while Ben stays back, and he plays Spider-Man for a while. Ben then dies again, this time thanks to the Green Goblin. But Ben is back again. The Jackal just can't get enough of bringing him back. Eventually, Ben becomes the new Jackal, and Pete has to stop him. There was more resurrection and redemption, and around we go. At one point, Ben became Chasm and joined forces with Madeline Pryor, who was also a clone. Together, they came up with a plan to steal the memories of Jean Grey and Peter Parker by unleashing hell on Earth. Fortunately, they were stopped. Now, Ben Riley, as the Scarlet Spider, is the one with the blue sweater over his outfit. Yep. So if you see the short, it almost looks like an 80s Spider-Man. So that's who Ben Riley is. But that's not what we're seeing in the show at all. That is not the Ben Riley we are getting from the Prime show. So here is some background on Spider Noir. Take it away, Matt.
So I had to stop myself because at first I wanted to say 90210, but it is Earth 90214.
Because that's 100% what was going through my head when I wrote that.
Yes. Now, Peter B. Parker, created by David Hine and Fabrice Sapolsky, this Spider-Man is a reinterpretation. You can't say Peter. I can't say reinterpretation.
Peter Piper picked up.
Oh, my goodness. His first appearance was Spider-Man Noir, issue number 1 in 2009. He is from 1930s New York during the Great Depression. Peter B. Parker loses his Uncle Ben to the Goblin and his mobster cronies, and Aunt May speaks out about how corrupt everything is. Pete is too passionate about the hell that is going on, and this puts the Bugle photographer Ben Urich on notice. He eventually saves him, and Peter becomes a sort of protege. Many events then lead to him getting bit by a spider at a warehouse on the pier where Goblin's cronies are at. A bunch of spiders then spill out.
I'm something of a mobster myself.
Yeah, a bunch of spiders come crawling at you. Apparently, these spiders bring evil death to anybody with evil intent. Not being so evil, he gets spider powers instead and becomes
kind of like the super soldier serum.
Spider-Man. Now, the Spider-Man dons the goggles, the coat, the hat. Andy Samberg actually voices Ben Riley in Across the Spider-Verse, and Nick Cage voiced Spider Noir in this Into the Spider-Verse. Now, what? You had something?
No. You're good. I just thought that was cool because I didn't realize. I was like, wait, Nick Cage did voice him in that.
Yeah, Nick Cage was Noir. Yeah. That's why at first when I was like, wait, I got confused.
And then Peter B. Parker was voiced by the guy from New Girl.
Yes. Oh my God. It's just
Which the
one big,
guy,
like, ah,
which Robbie Robertson is also
is
in New Girl.
he is,
I've never
yes.
even
And
seen
now
that
instead
show,
of
but I've
Ben
seen
Urich,
clips.
that show is really solid. Actually, Jess is the worst part about that show. Fun fact. Anyways,
I feel like I should watch it. I feel like it seems like up my alley, the comedy.
Robbie Robertson is used instead of Ben Urich in this one. He was actually also in the Tobey Maguire movies. You don't want him to get confused with Ben Urich from the Daredevil universe that we have going on, especially with
I
the
feel
BB
like that's why they
report.
did that.
Yeah,
And they named him Ben, so I feel like they weren't going to have two Bens that were close. So I feel like it
right.
made sense. But when I looked it up, I remember as soon as I saw the face of Robbie Robertson in the Tobey Maguire ones, I was like, oh, it's the guy that's always in J. Jonah Jameson's office, and he's always trying to talk reason into J. Jonah Jameson. So this is not the first time,
Uh,
if you're a casual fan, that you've seen Robbie Robertson, and of course, Cat.
you have. I love him as an actor. He's amazing. And then, yeah, so Cat, who's the Black Cat, Felicia Hardy, she's Marvel's Catwoman, essentially. So, you've kind of gotten familiar with these characters. So now the show picks up. We got Ben Reilly. He's a seasoned, down on his luck private investigator in 1930s New York. He's forced to grapple with his past life following a deeply personal tragedy as the city's one and only superhero, who they call the Spider. It's on Amazon Prime now. It's got Nicolas Cage, Lee Jun Lee, Lamorne Morris, Karen Rodriguez, Brendan Gleeson, and many, many more.
It's a pretty good cast.
They have not, announced it officially yet, but it's probably coming. And I feel like.
Well, they ended it in a way that obviously could keep going, but they also wrapped up the story in this season.
They did. So it's kind of one of those like, it can go either way. So.
Yeah. So the show overall, you want to give our non-spoiler thoughts before we start spoiling the crap out of it?
Yeah. So I didn't love it. I thought there were times when Nicolas Cage kind of took me out of it because he's Nicolas Cage. Like, he's a little old, right? And they really kept him out of the costume a lot. And then you can clearly tell when somebody else was in it. And, it was just kind of like, the villains were okay, but the one villain who plays, Electro or whatever,
Megawatt.
He got on my dang nerves.
Okay, I'll let you finish.
So just overall, didn't mind it. Do I want more? Yeah, I'll take it, but I'm not out here clamoring in the streets for more. I thought it was aggressively okay. There was nothing about the superpowers and the fighting that really was special. It just felt like, okay, he's got power.
It wasn't about the fighting. It really wasn't about the action scenes at all. I felt like it was more comedy than I expected. Now the Megawatt guy, he was a mega D-bag, but I felt like he was like a cartoon villain, but I felt like they were going for
so that's what
1930s cheese. Yeah, I felt like they leaned into that.
Yeah, it just his voice just got on my nerves.
Oh,
I think that's
very
really
annoying.
what it was. He was too cartoonish, and it was just all right, man. Anytime he talked, he just felt so over the top, and and also the one the one black dude, right? I feel like they really did his makeup dirty. I was like, did he just walk off the set from like the canceled Buffy the Vampire show? Because
did you watch it in color or black and white?
I went back and forth. So I liked it in black and white, but then the set pieces just got way too awful looking. So then I put it in color, which everything looked better in color, except for the fact that you just can tell Nick Cage is old. That was really a complaint, right? Like, that's really what it was. And it's just minor. It's just nitpicky. That's really what it is for me.
Gotcha. Well, I had downloaded it because we were going out of town and you can only download in color. But then we were watching it at like our hotel. We were watching it under somebody else's account because we couldn't figure out how to sign out of their Prime account. So we just kept watching it in color. Guys, when you leave a hotel, you can sign out of things after you've left. Like every place we went to.
Just like,
I don't want to watch. We own like everything. I don't want to watch it in somebody else's account, but it's a lot easier to do that.
Amazon didn't get your stats. They got their stats. So
Well, in one of them, we wanted to watch Friends and Neighbors, and it was like, oh, this person was on like the first episode of Friends and Neighbors, and then we were watching the finale, and I was like, oh, I feel like I need to go back and restart the first episode for them.
How funny is that, though? Because then they're like, did you watch this without me? No, I swear. And it's somebody was tuned in watching this. I don't know. It wasn't me. And you start.
But like we had signed into Netflix.
Ha
It
ha
too,
ha.
but you have to go into the page to log out, and I feel like I'm going through someone's underwear drawer, like
Yeah, because you
going
can see
into
like
their
their payment
Netflix.
info and
Oh, I didn't
like,
even think of
dude,
that. I just feel
well,
it just feels creepy. It feels wrong.
yeah,
But
it
you
just
can, after you leave, you can log out without logging out of everything. You can just log out of that specific thing, specific TV. You can do that after you leave a hotel. So that's my PSA. I'll get
just
off my
do it,
soapbox.
man, because it's weird.
But
But you're
anyways,
right though, man. If we're gonna log in, just like, come on, whatever. Anyways, what did you think about this? Spoiler free, of course.
I actually enjoyed it. I didn't have any expectations going into it. I'm aware of Nick Cage. I feel like that was my biggest expectation. I didn't know anything about Spider Noir. He really is not relevant in the Miles Morales movies. So I knew nothing about him. I knew it was an old timey movie, but I actually really enjoyed it. It felt like a cheesy, old timey mobster thing. And the times I enjoyed Nick Cage the most was when he was unhinged towards the end. Oh, spoilers. We're doing spoilers now. I feel
Oh
like.
yeah, let's go into
Um,
spoilers because I do want to talk about that.
I like that. And then when he was making the comments of like fighting his spider urges, like he made that early on, I was like, what spider urges? And then you see him like doing the like tensing up like a dead
Yeah, he's
spider
doing
and
like
like
sorts of weird movements. I was like, I feel like Nick Cage just started doing. He showed up on set. He started doing that one day, and then they were
I
like, you know
liked
what?
that.
That's fine. Go with it. Just
Yeah.
write that into the script.
But so many of these Marvel characters and DC were like, oh, I can't imagine anybody else being Iron Man, but Robert Downey Jr. He nailed it. Hugh Jackman nailed Wolverine. Like all, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. And like halfway through this, I'm like, they could have gotten somebody else to play Spider Noir. And then when he started going full
Literally
Nick
anybody
Cage,
else.
but then when he was doing the full Nick Cage, I was like, oh, I am actually enjoying him as Spider Noir. I'm
I'm
liking this.
telling you, he just started doing that. I can guarantee you.
And they did start making fun of his age. And they did, so I felt
They
like it
did.
was a little bit self-aware.
See, yeah, and I would say like largely, I think the big ultimate battles with the other. So what I guess what I had an issue with was the fight sequences where he's fighting other people's powers. Because I loved the, for example, after he gets out of the bunker where they're trying to cure everybody, he goes to the bar, he's drinking, then he gets into that fight with everybody
That
in the
was fun.
bar.
Yeah.
I thought the choreography for that fight sequence was awesome. But then you've got him
And
just
then
getting,
his friend walks in, Robbie walks in, and he's
yeah,
like
he's just
just
like,
looking around.
and I also
Robbie was
love
great.
the bartender too, was just, hey, like it's on the house and all of that stuff. He just pulls up his mask and drinks, but
Right. It's
it
like he
just,
knows who you are now.
yeah, there was no like, come on, man, there was none of that, and so like that was pretty awesome. Brendan Gleeson as Silvermane, I liked that they had Silvermane in this because you've never really seen a live action Silvermane before, so that was pretty rad. I could have done without Kat Hardy in that whole romantic with Flint. Like I just didn't care about that at all. It didn't do
But
anything for me.
I feel like the whole point of that was for her to mess with him, give him hope, and then take it away. But also, they're
Right.
20 years apart. I looked up their age. He's 62, she's 42. And because I was like, this doesn't, like, again, he felt too old for that.
That
I
doesn't
didn't
feel
enjoy
as
that.
bad as if you were telling me that he was 62 and she was like 32 for some, like, you know what I'm saying?
No,
She's in her
I
40s.
get
Like,
that.
okay,
But it's
okay.
like, she's my age and like he's almost my mom's age. That's just how I see it. But oh, the woman who passed, for all you Center Stage fans, that's Jodie Sawyer, the main ballerina in Center Stage.
Oh,
Love, love,
I
love
did
that
not
movie
know.
growing up. Tried to get Braille to watch it the other day. She was not interested.
She said no.
Gamora's
um,
in that. Gamora's a ballerina.
I
I,
didn't.
I
Okay. See that. So I will say though, my favorite character. So my favorite character was, his secretary. She
secretary.
was
She
awesome.
was
She was the
awesome.
best. She was the best.
I like when she's
Uh,
pretending like when he's like, I'm the spider, and she's like, oh, yeah, I know that.
yeah, she was so ride or die the whole thing, and so I really really enjoyed, especially because I thought Lamorne Morris when he dressed up as and tried to pretend to be the
That was
spider,
funny.
and he was also another one. Like those two were the two ride or dies throughout the entire thing, and were there for him pretty much any
They were
time.
fantastic. Yeah.
I mean, he had no money coming in as this private investigator, and I loved when he was on the phone in the phone booth. Yeah, it doesn't work. And then the phone rings and he picks it up and he's like, by the way, I lied. I just
I
love
loved
like
that.
he didn't even try to make excuses. Oh yeah, no, I lied. And I love that aspect. It was like there was those interjections of humor into this show where I was like, it just caught me off guard.
But I
And
felt like that was
that I
Nick
liked.
Cage. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
think
that's true.
they were both, I think, there with him when he was good at his high points with, when before he lost his soon to be fiance. So I feel like that's why they were still ride or die, because they knew who he was and that he was still mourning
True.
her. But it was also like, it's been years, dude. Like, you
No,
gotta
we're just
start to
not
move on.
saying. Yeah. Well, how do you feel about, he was in the war. So everybody who was caught up, in the war and everything like that, they ended up getting powers, which that the whole spider guy bit him. I thought that was kind of funny, how
That
he
was
got his
creepy.
powers. It was actually kind of a jump scare, but how do you feel about everybody knowing, how did they not remember that he was the guy who saved them in the war? That's what I kind of thought. Cause Flint and all of them were at the POW camp and he saved them.
Right.
How do they not
I
remember the
think
guy who saved them?
because I think they were out of it, and I think they was just getting saved. And I think that when you have a moment like that with like an emergency kind of situation, you don't necessarily remember things correctly. You know how sometimes when something happens, it's like you almost like black out for a second, and it's just
Okay.
like you
Yeah. Yeah.
just immediately, like, your adrenaline just reacts, but you don't actually know what you did in that moment. You just grabbed your kid before they fell off the mountain, kind of thing.
Okay.
You
That's
just
fair.
reacted. So I felt like it has a lot to do with PTSD and them all being drugged and whatnot.
Okay.
But
I can live with that.
I liked the tie-in with World War One, because obviously that's, with World War Two, they tie that into a lot of the Marvel stuff with the Nazis and whatnot experimenting on people, which they did in real life. So
Yeah.
I thought that
Yeah.
that was interesting that they brought it in that, and I really liked that it was during Prohibition and everybody was drunk.
Yes, yes. And then even the mayor started to run on the getting rid of prohibition, which really messed
Which
with
the
like
mob didn't
Silvermane's
want,
business.
because
Yeah.
that's how the mob got big, was during Prohibition.
Yeah. I
I loved that.
as a note because that was Silvermane's whole "don't mess with my money" kind of thing. I put you in power. That one was good. And again, I liked, Brendan Gleeson. I his little Irish accent and everything he was doing. He was menacing, but at no point did I feel threatened by him, I guess. He felt kind of cartoony and kind of somebody that
But
it just
again, I feel like they were
it's hard to
going
take him
for that.
seriously, I guess. But that's the vibe of this whole show is not anybody to take serious.
But if you watch like an old timey thing, like, they're cheesy. Like every black and
They
white
are.
movie
They are.
you watch, even if it's a serious, like you watch 12 Angry Men, it is cheesy, even though it is a serious movie. So I felt like they
True.
played into that. And I feel like that's why Nicolas Cage worked. Could somebody else have pulled it off? Yeah, I think so. But again, I've never read a
But
Spider
you're not
Noir
going to get
comic.
Nick Cage doing. You're not going to get somebody else doing the weird spider movements.
Not in the way he does.
No,
No.
no. I do have to say, all right. Do you remember Winston, old Winston, Silvermane's right hand man who ultimately gets shot in the grave?
Yeah.
I feel
He had
like
it
he could
coming.
play a young version of Death in Supernatural if they ever did something like that. He looked like he was like a young version of Death from Supernatural.
Oh, yeah. So his face was so familiar, but
Yeah,
I
I
couldn't
think
figure
to
out
me
what I knew
too.
him
Yeah.
from.
Lucas
And
Haas is the
he's
actor's name.
older than he looks.
He is. He was born in 76. He was
So
in
he's 50.
Inception. He was in Mars Attacks, stuff
Mm.
like that. So I'm sure I've seen him a bunch, but he
I mean,
just
nobody
looked.
can replace Death, the Julian something in
No, no,
Supernatural.
no,
He killed
no,
it. But
at
I see what
all.
you're
I love
saying.
him, but he just had.
Yeah.
They looked like they could be related. So to me, I was like,
Right. That
oh,
like skinny bones kind of showing, dark hair, dark demeanor.
yeah. He had like the
Yeah.
top hat and the way he
The
dressed felt
pale. Yeah.
very death like from Supernatural to me. So I was kind of digging that. I liked his vibe. Unfortunately, he ends up getting capped, and
I mean, he had it
that's what
coming.
happens. You play with the mob, man. Like they're eventually all going to turn on you. Okay, so
Yeah. There's only one way to leave the mob.
yeah,
In a
it's in. You're
casket.
sleeping with the
Actually, you don't end
fishes.
up in a casket. Yeah, you end up sleeping with the fishes.
Docks. You're going to the docks. How do you feel about Nick Cage getting his butt whooped and then Flint being the guy who ultimately saves the day? How did that go over for you?
I felt it was okay. Flint could have been a stronger character, but I feel like it wasn't really about him. It was more Kat's moment to shine. Flint was just a tool that was used.
Mhm.
I felt like, and obviously we know Flint Marco. We've met him. We're
Yeah.
very familiar with his movie counterpart. So I mean, his character was all right, but I mean, we did know that he was kind of a gray area. But he ain't the brightest crayon in the box.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. I was kind of expecting more, I guess, from the big fight, but thank God that stupid megawatt got beat. God, I don't want to rewatch because then it means I have to listen to his voice all over again. So
But I feel like his character was done better because I felt like they were leaning into the cheese. And I did think it was
that's what
interesting
it
that
was.
That they didn't make him
Yeah.
Electro, because I assumed he was going to be Electro. But they did make a comment though about, I don't know anything about Megawatt, like comic book wise, but they did make a comment about experimenting with animals, and they mentioned eels. So, because I kept waiting for
Oh,
them to call him
yeah,
Max.
that's right, that's how he got his powers. I thought that was interesting. I do like that,
Yeah.
actually. You're right, he was an actor, that's how his whole thing went. Overall, the thing, it was very cheesy, very kind of kept intentionally kind of PG-13 at most, maybe, with some of the stuff, and it wasn't bad. Would I watch a second season? Yeah, I definitely would.
But am I going to cry if there's not a second season?
Oh,
No, it
yeah.
was contained.
Yeah, the next time we see him, I hope it. I mean, Nick Cage eventually, whenever we get the ending to the Spider-Verse trilogy, he'll be back. But
Oh, good
I don't
God.
that. Oh, I'm just gonna get frustrated about that. To
That's
be
like
honest,
as bad as the Batman, if not worse.
you know, it wouldn't be so bad, I guess, as if they didn't say that the next one was coming out the next year at the end of the movie on a cliffhanger, and then it just nothing and nothing. It wasn't even filmed. How are you gonna? The movie wasn't even done or drawn or anything when you
They're
said this in
lucky
the
it's like a cartoon, because yeah, these are like Miles Morales is a young kid. Like they're
yeah.
lucky it's just the voice. The kid's now married with a mortgage and 3 kids.
Hey, remember me? Let me go catch you up. This is everything that happened. Yeah, now I got kids with old Gwen Stacy over here, or whatever. However it wraps up. Oscar Isaac was chasing me down, but now he's in the old folks' home because he's old now. By the time
Oh
this
my
comes out, and
gosh. There's
God,
so many. So I was actually, I forget what it was that led me to, because when I was looking up the Spider Noir, I was like, oh yeah, he voiced it. And I was on the IMDb page for the Across the Spider Verse or Into the Spider Verse. That entire cast plays other Marvel characters, like
yeah,
every
they do.
single one of them. Like Kate
'Cause-
Bishop is Gwen
yeah, I was gonna say
Stacy.
Haley
It's like,
Steinfeld plays Kate Bishop. Yeah,
yeah, it's crazy. They are like almost every single one of them.
it's very incestuous with how the cast is used, and especially because it's a Sony movie too, which is so funny how Sony's so gatekeepy, but then they've cast again the same characters that are in the Marvel to play these guys, and it's are
You
they
see it with
building this
DC.
Spider-Man universe? Are we not building this? Like, what is happening with the Sony Spider universe? Nobody knows. Uh, I'm
Nobody
okay.
will ever know until Sony sells it back to
And I'm
Marvel, which I
cool
don't.
with
They'll
just
never
like
do. Josh
let's
was
just
very.
stop.
We're like halfway through the show, and Josh is like, "So is this like connected to Marvel? Does Marvel own this?" And I was like,
Mm,
"Yes, but it's not MCU."
it's not
But he wasn't.
MCU, but could they bring him into Avengers Doomsday? Maybe, I guess.
But
Please
he
don't do
wasn't
that.
sure that
Please don't do
Spider
that.
Noir was Marvel. That was his
Yeah,
question.
yeah. Yes. For better or for worse. Yes, he is. Mostly for worse, but it is what it is.
How do you fight in a
It was
trench coat
fine.
if you're not an angel?
A trench coat and his top hat. I do like how his goggles would turn like illuminated, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know
like night
really if
vision.
that had an impact for anything, but I do like that he would turn those on.
Would
That was
that
fun.
qualify as a top hat? Wouldn't it be more like a fedora? I think top hat, and
I
I think
guess.
Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, imagine Abraham Lincoln Spider-Man running around because he was a vampire hunter. So why couldn't he be Spider-Man too?
Oh, I guess Abraham Lincoln can be whatever he wants to be,
Uh,
except a theater goer. That didn't work out well.
Yeah, theater patron. He's probably not built for that, buddy. Don't quit your day job. But anyways, that was our thoughts on Spider-Man Noir. I don't have any other thoughts on it other than it was aggressively okay. I'm
Oh,
cool.
the
That was
doctor was Bucky and Falcon's therapist. That made me laugh.
oh, was it? That's hilarious. Oh my god, she was a nut. Oh, I mean, I get why she was a nutcase because she was trying to save her son.
I didn't think she
Who
was in that case at all. I thought I was totally on board with her. Yes, she was trying to save her son.
and she did, but then her
Mhm.
stupid son went back and ends up getting killed anyways. But she did
I
save her
know.
son. And she found a cure. All right, not for nothing. She did find the cure. All right, and
Yeah.
then it ended up working out for the others who got the cure and everything like that. And
I'm not going to
and
fault a mom for holding down a 62-year-old dude to get his DNA to save the life of her 30-something-year-old son.
yeah, and
I'm
he's
not going
okay.
to fault
He
her.
healed up okay. All right, he ended up getting.
Yeah.
Also, actually, I do have something I want to say because I was very confused because there were times when he was punching guys who were going far away, and then he was getting taken down by simple dudes punching him, like.
Spider Noir.
Spider-Man's yeah, Spider-Man's strong. And so I guess I got confused on like his power set because at times he looked like he could barely punch through a cardboard box. And then
Well,
other
sometimes he
times
was drunk. Oh, he did have a moment where like he couldn't.
the webs, yeah,
He
they
was
weren't
doing.
coming out. I do
Yeah.
like the black webs. That was fun. It was weird
Yeah.
watching them come out of his skin up close, but it was so cool.
But hey, what is it? Whiskey. What does Deadpool say to Wolverine? I hear that's common among Wolverines over 40.
Yeah. Listen, it happens,
It's a
okay?
Spider-Man over 60.
It happened to Tobey Maguire before, all right? It happened to
Yeah.
him.
With a go web. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. But it was just weird how sometimes he would get taken down easy, and then other times he was whatever. I'm just complaining at this point. So
Hey, you know what? Some days I'm on fire and some days I'm not.
it's true. Do you have any final thoughts?
He's also drunk a lot. I thought it was fun.
True. It was fine. It was fun. So that was that. I don't know what's happening next. If you haven't known, we are
Supergirl.
Oh yeah, that's just coming this week. So sick.
Yeah,
Heck
and I
yeah.
gotta hit up Timmy because we need to do Clerks too. Before we know
All
it,
right.
Spider-Man's gonna be out.
Jeez, we're almost to July. Oh God, I gotta book my flights for the cruise.
There's Halloween stuff at Michael's.
All right, we ain't got to do all that. That's too much. All right, let's at least
I
mourn
may or may
over
not have gone in
America's.
there today solely to see if there was Halloween
I
stuff.
think Costco's putting Halloween stuff out already, I get anxiety when you start thinking about come on, man, can we pump the brakes, please?
I don't want to redecorate my whole house because it takes so long, but I'm ready for spooky season. But I also really want to go snorkeling this weekend. So I have a lot of emotions.
My Disney passes are up here in a few. I got to get my Disney in, man. Like, God dang, I got to come back.
I'm going tomorrow. You leave
my July's
now.
wide. Listen, my July's now wide.
Jessica's
open,
birthday. We're going to Epcot tomorrow. We have no plans in July. We'll be here.
All right, we'll see.
You coming in July? You better be coming with some cold wraps and some fans. You're gonna melt.
I'm gonna die.
Can't wear Roosevelts in July. You're gonna have to wear a tank top.
These baby breathe.
When I see people wearing like t-shirts at the parks in July, it makes me hot. I'm like, do you need to take?
I'm gonna sweat even if I had no shirt on. So whatever.
Just bring your reinforcements and you're good. You can do Disney when it's hot. Just be ready for it. That's all. Just hydrate. Have your cooling fans. Have your neck things. Yeah. Make a reservation in air conditioning with AC. You can do it. Just gotta be ready for it.
Yeah. All right. Well,
we gotta go to the beach.
You got to go to the Beacon Barrel. Yeah.
Oh, Beacon Barrel. I know. I haven't been there.
It's awesome. It was fun.
I've heard. Right,
we'll figure this out. We'll figure out plans. We will see you guys for Supergirl next. That's what's happening. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And peace out.